Hi, I'm Robin Forster with Feel So Alive Informed, and today I have a very special guest. I am excited to introduce you all to Amy Friedman, and you're going to see me looking down at my notes periodically. Amy has a very special, near and dear to my heart business because I'm kind of a productivity wonk, more of a wannabe, and she has turned this into a business. So Amy, before we even get started, will you just tell us a little bit about what your business is? Because I just find it to be fascinating.
Well, I help service-based solopreneurs with their business technology, helping them simplify their businesses by using technology so that they can get over the overwhelm and scale their business. Being able to get over that fear of tech, that fear of changing and doing something new is it's my jam. It's what I love to do. People will often tell me, "You like to do those things?" I'm like, "Yeah, that's fun to me." They're like, "You're crazy. I'll hire you to do that because I don't want to touch it with a 10,000-foot pole."
Exactly. And it's about where I've been looking in my business, and that's how we got connected because I had some friction in my business and I was trying to figure out how to smooth it out. And so it was so fun to be able to talk to you about that. I mean, to talk to someone who understands. But anyway, we're jumping ahead, and I don't mean to, but I'm just so excited about this topic, as you can tell. So, Amy, would you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you went from your previous business to this business? Because I want folks to know that you can be a serial entrepreneur and it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I will give the first little nugget of where this all started, which was my parents are entrepreneurs. But I didn't want to be an entrepreneur. I fought it with every ounce of my being. I worked for other people for 12 years before I landed as an entrepreneur. I got laid off when I was 6 months pregnant with my son, who's now 11. And that was the stopping point for me. It said, I don't want anyone else to have control. I don't want that anymore. I want to have control. And I went around trying to figure out what I was going to do. I've done wedding invitation design. I've done extreme couponing. I've done blogging. And in the blogging world, I landed on somebody who bought things at yard sales and consignment sales and resold them on eBay. I like yard sales. I'd like to make money off of yard selling. Okay. And so I started a successful eBay business that's slow myself down. And in that, I learned about selling online, selling e-commerce, doing that, and switched to Amazon. And Amazon, the inventory was out of my house, which was the big reason to switch to Amazon. I did Amazon for, gosh, almost 7 years. And I, in that time, also partnered with my best friend to teach people how to sell on Amazon. We had a YouTube channel, we had a podcast, we did all the things. We had courses, we taught in-person workshops, all of that stuff. And what I found in that business, in the teaching people, was I loved all of the back end integration, setting it up, making it all work together. All of the software and tech that went to make that function was fun to me. And it was through that journey that brought me to the business I'm in now of helping other people set up those frameworks, those systems, so that they can not spend all the time doing the part of their business that really isn't their zone of genius. Automating things, putting
Yes.
systems in place so that you're not stuck with the friction that Robin was just talking about. You become your own roadblock in a lot of ways. And my goal is to help you stop being the roadblock in your business so you can get on to doing what your zone of genius is, because that is where you should spend the bulk of your time. And so many people that I talk to get stuck in the place where they're doing all the other things and the small portion of what they're doing is their zone of genius.
That is so well said. And I just know in my life, and I'm sure for a lot of other folks also, that you sit at your desk and you're trying to do something, and you're right, it's not in your zone of genius. And so you're spending 20 times more time than you should be. And it's really a friction point, and it then starts to drive you crazy. So then you get frustrated. And it just seems like it would be easier to talk to somebody who, sometimes I talk to my husband, and it's not how their head works. So they don't really get helping you find a solution. That's one of the things appreciated when we first started talking was like, oh, Amy gets this.
And that's honestly one of the best pieces about having conversations with other business owners. We can talk to our spouses, we can talk to our friends. None of the people in my life outside of my working world have a clue as to what I do and or understand it. So being able to have those conversations with people who get it. And oftentimes what I found, and this is what the light bulb moment in my last business went on when my business partner said, can we do this? And my response was always, yes, I think we can, but let me go figure out how to do it. And I would get excited about going through the process of figuring out how to do that. And so now I get to bring that excitement into other people's. I'm here, I want to be over here. I don't know how to do this part. And I say, I can help you with that. I know how to get you from point A to point Z.
Nice. That is so exciting. Okay, so it's so easy to get sidetracked with you because this is so much fun, and it's just like, yes, let's go down that rabbit hole. That's fascinating. But okay, so you've told us a little bit about how you got drawn into those line of work. Okay, what are some gifts that you can give to the world? I mean, solo entrepreneurs who are sitting there tearing their hair out. If you can give us some tips and techniques that folks can apply right now, that would just be awesome.
All right. The first thing I want to share is to get out of your own way, because so often the clients that I work with are a roadblock in their own business. And it's oftentimes because they want to be able to figure it out themselves. I should be able to. The I should statement needs to leave your vocabulary. And okay, is this the best use of my time? Am I supposed to be learning how to design a WordPress website? Am I supposed to be figuring out how to set up a Calendly scheduler? Oftentimes we put ourselves in these I should situations because we feel like, at least I know for myself, I want to be able to do this on my own. I should be able to do this on my own. I'm sure that there's something from my childhood that's put that in there for me, but get out of your own way. Stop letting those thoughts of I need to do it myself. That leads me into my second point. My second point is what in your business is currently causing you those friction points, those stuck points? Whether it's hardware that you're using, are you on an outdated computer or outdated piece of hardware that you're using to do what you do? I was sharing with Robin before I got on here, a dear friend of mine who I just had lunch with is telling me how she's still using to design graphics a 25-year-old design program. And I was like, oh dear, I almost feel like I want to buy you a subscription to the Adobe Suite so you can learn something new. And the reality is we have these biases, we get in these stuck points, say this is the way I've always done it, so this is the way I'm going to keep doing it. How well is that working for you is what I'll ask you there. And the reason I go there is because we get stuck in these places. This is the way I've always done it. I'm not even going to look to see what else is out there because this is comfortable. As nothing amazing happens in your comfort zone. So kick your comfort zone to the curb, and that's function in what can be. What technology are you using right now, whether it be hardware or a software, or what are you not using right now? Did you start your business a couple of years ago and have just kept using the same stuff you used when you started? Because if you're there, it's time to look at what the other options are. It's really hard to scale stuff that you started when you had 1 or 2 clients or 1 or 2 customers or only had a product line of 5 or 10 things. It becomes a completely different thing when you try and scale that. And so looking at what those things are, pushing the comfort zone, saying goodbye, put it over there, put it in the comfort zone on the shelf, let it collect dust because it needs to collect some dust, and looking at what's taking you longer to do than it needs to, whether it be those admin tasks, whether it's a program you're working on that really gets you frustrated every time you try and use it or whatnot. That's going to be my 2 tips for you is get rid of the I shoulds and find the things that are causing friction and see why they're causing you friction.
That is perfect. And it just reminds me of the story that I was sharing with you before about I use Book Like a Boss to schedule my appointments. And it's great. I love it. It works. and they just came out with a new thing, which I was just starting to realize it was a piece of friction for me, but I hadn't gotten to what do I do next. And so what I've been doing, because this whole Feel So Live Informed program was not planned, no strategy, just I saw a need and wanted to fill it. And so one of the things I have to do is send a couple of emails manually, and you know that because you've been getting them. Book Like a Boss now has that all built in. So I no longer have to send all those extra emails, which is, I think, exactly what you're talking about. There was a friction point. I was just kind of getting uncomfortable with it. It's like, this is weird. And here was the solution. It took Book Like a Boss 2 emails to get me to pay attention to this absolutely fabulous solution that I was already paying for.
Exactly. And the thing that I always do is I think people, I think we get stuck in that space and we forget to, we think that that's going to be hard, that that's going to be too much. I don't want to spend my time doing that. When in reality, that spending that extra amount of time to implement that new thing in the long run, even in the short run, based on what you're talking about, is going to save you more time than you are dealing with this thing over here. You save you a ton from that, but it's that 2 hours, 4 hours, even 10 hours you're spending to set this new thing up is going to save you time 10, 20 fold.
Oh, yeah,
And
absolutely.
that is the key that people get stuck on. But it's going to take me time to set it up. We got an option there. Either you can decide to set it up for yourself, which you can do. There's plenty of DIY stuff out there for almost anything you can want to do. But there's also the hire somebody to do it for you. I don't want to learn how to set up my Calendly or my Schedule Once or my Dubsado client management system. I want to do this. I want to get from here to here, but I don't want to do this part in the middle. Bring somebody in to help you do that. And oh my gosh, it will be a light moment. It will be amazing for you. And so it doesn't matter where you are in your business, and you can hire for little jobs and big jobs. Everyone thinks hiring out costs an insane amount of money. Let me correct that, because in my last business, we didn't want to hire time and time again. We kept pushing against that. When we finally did, we realized it doesn't have to cost you crazy amounts of money to be able to have those conversations. And sometimes all you need to do is have that conversation to get whatever's rattling around up here in your brain, ping-ponging everywhere, out into the world, into a thing that you can then see all the steps. And once the steps are laid out in front of you, it's a light bulb moment. You can say, oh, I can do each piece of this at a time. When it's a project that's huge, like building a website, for example, huge project, overwhelming, can cost you millions of dollars, not really, but cost you a lot, depending on who you're paying to do it. It doesn't have to be that way. It can be a 3-page website that has these basic components. And once you know what those are, it's easier to deal with each small part of the process. And that's part of what I do, is take those bigger picture things and break it down into smaller bite-sized pieces. Well, you can step through and say, oh, I can take that piece and do that, or I can do this piece and do that, and not feel so overwhelmed by the magnitude of it.
Nice. Yeah, that overwhelm piece. Oh, Amy, this has been wonderful. I'm watching the time. I know you've got another appointment. And so I just wanted to thank you very much because this has been absolutely fabulous. Thank
Well,
you.
thank you so much for having me. It's been great to be here.